kid at school that sold pencils. Now, yes, it was a simple business, but he had one of these fancy, expensive pencil sharpeners at his house, and they sharpened pencils perfectly. Like the wood around the lead was even. The point was as sharp as a pin. It's perfect. So every night he'd be in his garage watching his TV, sharpening these pencils, and then he would bring them to school the next day. He had this very carefully picked out pencil case that would protect the tips of all these pencils. The next morning he would open it in class and show his classmates. I mean, I already have a pencil, but those look amazing. Something about how perfectly sharpened they were captured people's eyes every single time. He sold them for 50 cents each. And when he would hand these pencils over to the customers, they would hold on to it and look at it like they just bought something very expensive, very rare. Well, word spread, business began to boom, and people all around the school wanted his pencils, which is crazy to me because they could have just sharpened their own. But there was something about his. Some kids even bought them and refused to write with them because they didn't want to ruin how good they were. What? In total, he made around $400. He ran this for like a year, and then he stopped because he bought the pair of shoes he wanted. And what do I always say? Write it in the comments before I can say it. You gotta respect the hustle. There was this kid whose locker was in the best spot of the school. It sat directly under one of the school's air conditioning vents. It's nice and chilly over here. Nobody paid attention to it, not really even him, until one day he throws a Gatorade on the top shelf of his locker. He comes back a couple hours later. Oh, this is ice cold. And it's cold. So the next day he tries it again with a soda, a warm soda. He puts it in the morning, he checks it after lunch. Oh, that's a crispy soda. That's when he gets an idea. Instead of filling the top shelf of his locker with his own drinks, he starts renting shelf space. $1 to keep your drink in there until lunch. $2 if you wanted it till the end of the day, to have a cold drink for practice or something. People didn't believe him at first. Dude, there's no way your locker is like a refrigerator. Until one dude tried it. He went to pick up his Dr. Pepper before lunch, and it was cold. No, guys, it actually worked. It was first come, first serve, until the top shelf of the locker was rented out completely. And there was always someone who couldn't get a spot because it was booked up. Kids lined up before the first bell at his locker, holding milk, Gatorade. One kid said, "Will it freeze my ice cream?" He had it organized. He put sticky notes on with the person's name so he knows whose was whose. Teachers found out, but they were just amazed. Like, yo, what a smart kid. And what a strong air conditioning vent. And according to the students, that was the most valuable locker in the school. Yeah, I believe it. And guess what? You gotta respect the hustle. Here's a crazy McDonald's story. So the person that shared this said that she used to work at McDonald's. Well, this lady pulls through and orders a large high C. The girl working the drive-thru said that when they pulled up to pay and get their drink, she heard a lot of people in the car giggling, but she didn't really think too much of it. So she takes her money. All right, that's $2.50. Thank you. And here's your drink. Then, not even 2 seconds later, as she was turning around, she heard the lady in the car scream, "Fire in the hole!" The woman in the car then threw the large drink directly at the drive-thru worker. But somehow the worker was quick, and she managed to ninja chop that cup directly back into that person's car. Oh! It's all over me! The customer who threw the cup then got very mad and demanded that she speak to a manager. I want to speak to a manager right now. This is unacceptable. The drive-thru worker then tells her manager what happened. They banned her from that McDonald's for the rest of her life. This stepmom is evil. This happened when this kid was around 11 years old. You see, his dad had remarried a few years earlier, and things at home were weird, but he was trying to make it work. One day his stepmom goes, "Come on, buddy, let's get some ice cream." And he's like, "All right." To him, this feels nice. Maybe they're gonna bond. Maybe she's finally warming up to him. So they go get cones. They sit down inside the shop. He's eating his ice cream, thinking it's a normal day. She then sets her ice cream down, looks him in the face, and says, "I think it's best if you go live with your mom full time." He's confused. But before he can answer, she says this, "Nobody in our house loves you." The dude said he just sat there frozen. She keeps going. "You take your dad's money. You smell. You ruin everything, and you make him choose you over me." She's saying this to an 11-year-old inside of an ice cream shop. Then when she's done laying into him, she stands up, walks out, gets in the car, and leaves him there at the ice cream shop crying. He said that moment changed him forever. No normal adult says that to a child. That woman is evil. This woman's daughter begged to learn piano, like for weeks. So finally her mom says, okay, but I'm not buying you a real piano, it's a keyboard. Doesn't matter, it's fine, her daughter's still super hyped. So they go to Target and her mom buys her this keyboard. But there's a catch. Okay, so you want piano lessons, right? Well, here is what we're gonna do. 6 months minimum, no quitting early, and you practice 20 minutes a day. And the kid agrees. At first, it's fine. She's learning songs. She's really enjoying this. Then week 8 hits. She starts not practicing. She starts skipping. One day here, one day there. You know, she's getting more homework, school's stressful, she can't do it all. And her mom reminds her, listen, every day you don't practice, you owe me those minutes. You will make them up. Then comes the school trip. 3 days, 2 nights, her entire grade's going. She's been excited about this for months. And the mom goes, hey, so I know your trip is coming up this weekend, but you've missed 11 practice days on the piano. So before you go, you need to make up 11 hours of piano practice. The kid's like, wait, what? Yeah, if you do not make up the 11 hours, you are not going on that trip. So she has to make up 11 hours of piano practice. But the thing is, the trip is like 4 days away. That's a lot of piano practice. The dad tries to step in. Hey, we already paid for the trip. This is kind of ridiculous, don't you think? Kevin, I am teaching our daughter a lesson. If you don't want to support me on this, then get out. Well, the daughter tries to make up those 11 hours, but with homework and sleep, she can't do it. And her mom forces her to stay home from the trip. That is not okay. This kid's a legend. So at this one high school, there was one kid that somehow managed to bring a whole rotisserie chicken to lunch every single day. Now, I'm not talking about some lunchbox-sized meal, oh no. I'm talking about a full-sized grocery store rotisserie chicken. And he wouldn't sit down and eat it with a fork and a knife. He would eat it like an absolute caveman. He would crack his knuckles and just start going to town, tearing that chicken apart with his bare hands. You know, at first, people ignored it because they thought maybe this was just a one-time thing. But then he kept doing it every single day. Well, I guess this was an issue for some people because then the school took notice and teachers tried to stop him, but technically he wasn't breaking any rules. There wasn't a no eating a whole chicken at lunch rule in the handbook because, like, you know, it got to a point where the principal literally begged this kid to stop doing it because it was making everybody uncomfortable. The kid just looked at him in the eye, took a bite of his chicken and said, "What are you gonna do? Suspend me for eating lunch?" And honestly, respect. This guy said that when he was a kid, his mom had this crazy punishment for whenever he talked back to them or used inappropriate language. Hey, I said no Minecraft till you're done with your homework. Homework is dumb, Mom. This is bullshit. Whenever something like that happened, she would force him to smell the dog's breath. Get your dog? Mom, no. I said get your dog. Rufus, come here, buddy. Come here, Rufus. I'm just gonna hold your mouth open for a second, okay? Smell it. Smell it. What did you eat today, man? This kid ran a school candy empire. When this dude was in middle school, he realized something. The school cafeteria charged way too much money for snacks. So he decided to start his own business. He went to the dollar store, bought a huge bag of candy for cheap, and started selling them at school. And let me tell you, this is a great idea. I did this when I was in school. At first, he sold candy bars for $1 each. You know, making small profits here and there. But the more kids that started buying from him and the more product he was buying himself, he raised his prices. $3 for Snickers, $5 for a bag of Sour Patch Kids. People were paying and business was booming. He ran this candy empire for a while. He even had employees that would sell the product in different hallways at the school. But one day, the lunch lady saw him selling these snacks during lunch, and she got mad. I wonder if it's because kids weren't buying their snacks anymore, they were buying this dude's candy. So she turned him into the principal, and everything was shut down. In total, this kid made about $2,000. This is awesome. This person said that when he was in high school, he was applying to colleges, and there was one college that he really wanted to go to. So he was at his counselor's office, and they were talking about this. Yeah, so I really want to go to that school, Steven, and I think I can do it. Steven, you're not getting into the school, man. Steven was pissed. He went to the principal's office and told the principal the situation. Yeah, so Mr. Johnson just completely, disregarded me and shut me down, so that there's no way I'm getting into that school. Well, Steven, he has a point. I mean, look at the school and look at you. Apply to a state school, you know? Go. This made Steven even more mad. So what did he do? He went home. He sat down at his computer and he began writing his college essay. He went to town. He was writing. He was thinking. His brainstorming. Thoughts were just spurting out of everywhere. He was done. He sent it off to that school that he really wanted to go to, and he waited. Till time passed, and suddenly there was a big packet in his mailbox. He goes inside and he opens it. Accepted. I got in. I got in. He got into the school. Oh my God, he was so freaking excited. Well, it turns out this school was way too much money and he could not afford it, so he ended up not going to school. But he made copies of the acceptance letter and he taped it to the door of his counselor and the principal. One for you, one for you. This school prank lasted for 2 years. It all began at this high school when a single rubber duck appeared in the school's water fountain. And nobody thought much of it. It was just a random duck. Who cares? Until the next day, 2 ducks, then 4, then 10. By the end of that week, there was rubber ducks appearing in every sink, every toilet, and even in students' lockers. Teachers were losing their minds. The principal, she was done. She kept saying on the intercom, "Whoever's responsible for the ducks, speak up now, please." Silence. Nobody confessed. So they gave up. They figured it would eventually sizzle out. But here's the thing, it never stopped. For 2 years, rubber ducks would randomly appear in the craziest of places. Ceiling tiles, inside the vending machines, somehow. One duck even appeared in the vice principal's car. It became a legend till this senior year. It was graduation. The principal was giving her speech when suddenly a banner dropped down. What was on the banner? A single rubber duck. This kid walked to the front of the stage and said, "It was me. It was always me." Hey Kyle. What, Chad? Nice mustard on your shirt, you frickin' slob. Whatever, man. At least I didn't fail English 3 times. Good story, man. But in what chapter do you shut up? That was good, right? What was that, man? I could eat a can of alphabet soup and poop out a better comeback than that. In fact, stay there. I'll be right back. Perfect. Hey, Chad. What? Look. How did he do that? How did he do that? This kid roasted his teacher. So this one kid's school, there was this teacher who always tried to be the cool teacher, but ended up embarrassing himself a lot. You know, he would crack jokes, roast students, act like he was one of the kids. Most times, students just ignored it. But then one day, this happened. Okay, class, we're gonna start the review for the test on Friday, but I'll be sure to explain it slowly so Liam can understand it. What? Oh, come on, man, you gotta fight back. Hit me with something, show me your personality. Maybe then you'll pass the test. Liam just sighs, leans back in his chair and says, "All right, Mr. Thomas. You asked for it. Why don't you finally admit that this is not the life you wanted? Maybe that's why your wife left you, your kids hate you, and you're stuck here trying to impress a bunch of 14-year-olds, you mayonnaise-loving Get it together. So in 8th grade, this kid had a crazy gaming setup at home, and he had the nicest stuff. He had a bunch of fancy controllers, fancy headsets, everything. Well, one day, he brought one of his super nice Xbox controllers to school to fidget with. At lunch, his friend saw it and was like, "Hey, yo, let me borrow that for the weekend." "Nah, man, I kinda need it." But his friend pulled out $5 and said, "Hey, come on, just for 2 days, I'll pay you." So he took the money, and Monday, his friend returned the controller and said, "Bro, I would definitely rent this from you again." That's when his idea sparked. He started bringing all of his extra controllers from home to school, charging kids $5 for the weekend or $10 for the whole week. Then kids started asking him if he had any extra headsets, so he started bringing all of his nice headsets to school. By the next month, he was running a full-blown rental service. Controllers, headsets, even an extra keyboard. These kids were paying just to use the better gear at their house. He was making $40 to $50 a week just by doing this. But then one day, one kid lost one of his his controllers, and instead of paying for it, he snitched to a teacher. The principal then shut down the whole thing. But in total, this kid made over $1,500. You gotta respect the hustle. This high school made a huge mistake. All of the boys' bathrooms at this one high school were shut down by the school because somebody was stealing toilet paper. So they closed down the bathrooms until the person who was stealing toilet paper turned themselves in. Well, that's not fair to the other students. For about a week, the boys' bathrooms were closed, and the boys were getting very upset by it. How can they lock the bathrooms? That's super unfair to us. What if I had to poop? I have to poop right now. Me too, I can't take this anymore. I've been holding it in every single day. It can't be good for me. Boys, I have an idea. Everyone here holding your poops. After lunch, at exactly 1:15 p.m., stand on your desks and take a dump right there. If we all do it, we can't get in trouble. Spread the word. The second the clock hit 1:15, this is what happened. A total of 25 dudes pooped on their desks in the middle of class. The teachers were horrified. They tried to get them in trouble, but they could do nothing about it because the bathrooms were locked down. The school actually got into huge trouble for denying people bathroom privileges, and the poop incident went down in history. This kid exposed his own teacher, but then it backfired. Let's call this kid Jake. And recently, Jake had been noticing something strange. The star quarterback, let's call him Ryan, never studied, never did his homework, but he managed to get perfect scores on every test. Well, one day, Jake was staying after class a little bit to ask the teacher a question when he noticed something. The teacher hands Ryan a piece of paper and says, "Memorize these." That's when Jake realizes the teacher is giving him the answers to the test. Well, he thought. No wonder he keeps getting perfect scores. The teacher is helping him cheat. The teacher's helping him remain on the football team. Instead of snitching, Jake gets smart. He starts watching Ryan, catches him in the library, memorizing stuff from the exact paper the teacher gave him. Jake slowly walks behind Ryan and secretly takes a picture of the paper. Then on test day, he takes a picture of his test. The answer sheet that Ryan was memorizing matches exactly to the test they received. He got it. Proof. The teacher and Ryan were caught. Well, instead of turning this into the principal or whatever, he showed the teacher. He blackmailed her. Hey, yeah, see this? Look familiar? And see this? That's our test from today. The exact same. I know what you're doing. Oh my god. Well, no. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna start giving me the answers to every test. Or I'm taking these pictures and I'm telling the school board and you're fired. Okay. That's blackmail, baby. Now Jake starts getting perfect scores on every single test. But this all came crumbling down. Apparently, another student in the class had stayed behind and heard Jake tell the teacher this. That student went to the principal. What happened? Well, the teacher was fired, Ryan was benched and never played football again, and Jake, he got suspended. The locker room snack dealer. In high school, this kid noticed something. After their gym class, everyone was starving. But the vending machines were always broken and the cafeteria was on the other end of the school. And that's when he saw his opportunity. He went to Costco and bought tons of bulk snacks. Chips, candy, granola bars, you name it. Then he started selling them straight out of his gym locker. The first day he began doing this, everyone was hyped. Oh my gosh, this kid's selling food for us. We're starving every day. This is perfect. After gym class every day, kids would be lining up at his locker to buy some of his snacks. It was a genius business, truly. He was making $50 a day just from selling these snacks. You know, things did get a little bit risky. One day, a teacher walked into the locker room and saw what was going on, and he said, "Hey, you better not be doing what I think you're doing." Kid was scared. He was like, But the teacher was like, "Just kidding." Handed the kid a $5 bill and bought snacks himself. What a legend. That kid ran a snack business all year. And he made over $1,500. You gotta respect the hustle. Now this is a school business. When this kid was in middle school, he had an idea. So his school banned energy drinks, but kids still wanted them really bad. So he decided to start his secret business. He would bring in cans of energy drinks hidden in his backpack, and he would sell them for $5 a piece. Now at first, it was just a few of his friends buying from him. But word got out, and suddenly everybody wanted to buy from him. Now business was immediately booming. And because the school banned energy drinks, and he was the only one selling them, he raised his prices to $10 a can, and people still bought them. For months and months, he ran this operation, and he never got caught. He even had a system. He would take orders in the morning, and he would make secret drop-offs in between classes. But one day, a gym teacher saw him hand an energy drink to another student and take money from him. Instead of shutting this kid down and turning him in, all he said was, "Be careful." So he kept going. Then, one day, the principal got involved. A teacher saw a kid chugging an energy drink in the hallway, so the teacher inquired, and that kid snitched. The principal pulled this kid into the office, and just like that, the business was shut down. But, in total, he made over $7,000. You gotta respect the hustle. One day, this class had a brand new substitute teacher. Nobody had ever seen him before. He just walked in, slammed his briefcase down, and said, "I don't care what you do, just try to be quiet, okay?" Bad move on his part, because the second he said that, all hell broke loose. Two kids started playing Uno across their desks while one filmed the thing like it was a documentary. Some kid in the back just stood up and left. He didn't even try to sneak out, he just walked out the door. And the sub did nothing. At some point, this kid named Marcus stood up and started teaching the class. "So I'm gonna teach you guys how to care for an axolotl." And the sub just nodded like he was fine with it. That's when a couple students who were sitting near the front row grabbed the substitute's briefcase and opened it. Inside was nothing. No papers, no lesson plans, no pens, nothing. That's when the sub looked at the class, nodded, and said, "All right, see ya." And then he left. Everyone was like, what the heck just happened? No one knew who he was, where he came from, or why he was there in the first place. But I bet you that day in class was the funnest ever. Dumb reasons people got in trouble at school. It was grade school and it was the end of the day. This kid got on his bus, but the bus driver had to wait a few minutes to leave because there were still some students making their way to the bus. So the bus driver suggested they sing a song. Alright students, we're gonna be heading out here soon, but while we wait, let's do a little sing-along, okay? Let's sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's when this one kid said this. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star sucks. What did you say to me? Twinkle Twinkle Little Star sucks? That's it. The driver then went back to where this kid was sitting and dragged him off the bus and pulled him by the arm to the principal's office. Come on, come on. The heck? Yeah, Miss Henley, this kid threatened me. You should give him a detention. Make him stay. I did not. Sit down. I'm calling your parents. His parents were then called and they were forced to pick him up. They raised this issue to the school superintendent. He then checked the footage of the bus, and they obviously saw that this kid didn't do anything that bad. In fact, the bus driver shouldn't have grabbed him like that. He was fired. Every single morning, this kid bought the same thing from the vending machine. Sugar-free lemonade. Yum. The same vending machine, the same drink, every morning. It was his routine. Well, one morning, he drops his coins in. What the heck? Clink, clink, nothing. The machine is not recognizing this money at all. He tries to press the button to get his coins back, but nothing was happening. Okay, must be working. So he goes to the office and tells them. They say that they have no control over the vending machines at all. So he wrote on a piece of paper, "Do not use, out of order," and he tapes it to that vending machine. Okay, perfect. Now nobody else will waste their money here. Hero moment. The next morning, he goes to the vending machine and the paper is gone. So he assumes, oh cool, they must have fixed it. What the heck? Still broken. His coins just gone. Nothing's registering, he cannot get his drink. So he's irritated now, he makes another piece of paper. Do not use, out of order. He tapes it on there. This time he checks on it at lunch and the piece of paper is gone. But the machine is still broken. Somebody is taking his paper off but not fixing the machine. People are probably wasting their money here. He didn't want people to make the same mistake he was doing, but he was like, why are they taking this down? So he goes to the principal again, makes the principal call the vending machine company. They come out and they fix it. Yeah. But all the money he put in there was gone. They wouldn't give him a refund. But hey, at least he got the vending machine fixed. And he got to have his sugar-free lemonade again. This school had the stupidest rule. If it was a super hot day, kids couldn't play at recess. They had to just sit down. But here's the thing that didn't make any sense. They weren't sitting down inside or in the cafeteria or anywhere. They still went outside. They just couldn't play. Okay, it's a hot one today, kids. Have a seat. And they would make the kids sit on this black pavement. Oh, ma'am, why can't we just sit inside? It's so hot out here. Cause it's recess, duh. 20 minutes later, the bell would ring, recess would be over, kids would stand up, they're sweating profusely, and they would stumble inside. Now, I guess it's better than running around in the heat. You know, kids could pass out. But still making them sit on the ground in the same heat is kind of just as messed up. and they weren't allowed to go inside. I think this was in Arizona. That makes sense, I think. This math teacher was a total freaking nightmare. She required every student to have a specific scientific calculator in her class. The calculator cost $100, but if you forgot yours, too bad. She wouldn't lend you one and you were not allowed to share or borrow off of anybody else's when you were in the classroom. Well, one Saturday, a junior named Marcus was biking in his neighborhood when he spots a massive garage sale. Oh, that looks sick. He goes up and takes a closer look and he finds an absolute gold mine. This tech hoarder was selling a box of 15 perfect condition graphing calculators for $1 each. Well, Marcus didn't even blink. He bought all of them. I'm gonna buy all of them. He dropped $15, took everything home, and he realized he was sitting on over $1,000 of technology. Well, the next Monday, he brought these to school to start a little business. He would stand right outside of that rude teacher's classroom door. It would be 5 minutes before the bell, and he would rent them out to students that didn't have these calculators. Hey, psst, you need one? I know she's tough. $5 to rent for the class period. Oh my God, thank you so much. There's a test today. I was gonna fail it. I got you, dog. After a while, word spread and people would just message him like, hey, got any calculators today? I need one for the class. Yeah, I got a few left. I'll meet you by the bathroom in 10. The teacher eventually said that students could no longer rent these calculators, but that rule never really stuck because at that point, she's just using any excuse to fail students. This kid retired at the end of the year, and he sold those calculators to people that would buy them for half the price. But he swears he saved a lot of people's grades that year, and that is respect. So this kid, her name is Jennifer. She's 10 years old, she's super chill, she's having dinner with her parents. Her and her family are just talking about school when she casually says this. Oh, Katie's in my class. That's my teacher's daughter. Totally normal, right? Well, her mom froze. Fork in her mouth froze, startled, and she goes, wait, your teacher's daughter is in her own class? Jennifer is confused. She's like, yeah, I mean, she treats her like everybody else. It's super normal. And her mom's like, of course, sweetie. Now go on. She smiles, nods, and sends her kid to go play Minecraft or something. Then she turns to her husband and says this. This is a full-blown scandal. She starts talking about how this teacher's kid has unfair advantages, like secret access to test answers and stuff like that, like it's a freaking crime show. Her husband's just trying to eat, and he goes, are we sure this is a big deal? Well, apparently that was the wrong move. You're not even willing to stand up for your own daughter? What do you say? And then the next morning, she wakes up and she emails the entire 5th grade team at that school, saying that this kid being in her class is incredibly unfair and that she's going to go to the principal, calling it a terrible case of nepotism, which is just a fancy word for playing favorites, even though there's literally no proof that this teacher is playing favorites at all. She even CC'd her husband on the email. He reads it and he's like, yo, you really sent that email? Are you kidding me? She said that when her husband said that, she got so mad she left the room. Way too disrespectful. You're being a terrible father. Now, it's incredibly awkward for this entire family. The husband is not talking to his wife. He's super pissed because she's being absolutely crazy. There's nothing wrong with a teacher having her own daughter in the classroom. It has nothing to do with them. Jennifer's kind of like, what is going on? She said it's been awkward for her in class as well. And this entire time, the mom is walking around like, I can't believe no one sees what's happening here. This is a scandal. No, it's not. What do you guys think? I'm gonna ruin your life. Why? There was this girl who was just super awful, always being mean to somebody, always starting rumors, and this one girl got it the worst. They were on the basketball team together and the softball team together, and this mean girl was always making stuff up about her. Kayla said she hates your coaching style. What? Kayla said she thinks you're the worst player on the team. She's the worst! And people were confronting her. The coaches punished her for this, and people on her team hated her. I didn't say any of those things. But nobody really believed her, and she knew who was behind this. Krista. Then sophomore year starts. Kayla has geometry class with Krista, and Krista starts becoming super friendly. Hey, what's up, Kayla? How you doing today? Fine. She sits next to her every day, laughing at all her jokes. You're hilarious. And then one day before class, Krista says, hey, can I please see your homework from last night? I didn't do mine. I'm just gonna copy your answers down really quick. And that's when it clicks. Krista's failing geometry, and she wants the answers. She wants to pass, so for a few weeks, Kayla lets her copy off her. Yeah, sure, that's totally fine. Then one day, Kayla realizes she's done. They had a really big important take-home exam that Krista didn't do, but Kayla knew she was gonna ask for the answers, so she had 2 copies. The other one, she wrote everything down wrong on purpose, and when Krista asked for the answers, she let her copy the wrong one. What? Kayla? We failed. No, you failed. I got an A. Now that's karma. I don't feel good. Puke somewhere else. It's finals week, and the hallways are dead silent during class. Everyone's either taking tests or they're doing reviews. Well, on this particular day, this one kid had not felt good. His stomach feels weird. He's nauseous. By midday, he's pale, and he can't hold it in anymore. So he sprints out of the classroom to the bathroom. He turns the corner to the nearest bathroom, and the janitor cart is parked right there. One bathroom is locked, and the other one is blocked. I gotta throw up, he said. Throw up somewhere else, the janitor replies. He tries to slip past him. No, stay back. Now he's panicking, but he sees the garbage bag hanging off the janitor's cart, so he decides he's just gonna throw up in there. But the janitor says, "Shoo, get out of here!" And that's it. Kid just steps back, looks at the floor in front of him, and pukes all over it. He then backs up a bit and pukes more. Now he's leaving this puke trail as he's stepping back. When he's done, he wipes his face and he looks at the janitor and says, "Well, looks like you're gonna have to clean that up, huh?" And the janitor is mad. But there's nothing he can do because he's the one that refused this kid a safe, clean toilet to throw up in. So now that's what he gets. When he was 10, his grandpa asked him, "What do you want for your birthday?" And he says, "A brick." A brick? Why? Because my parents still have the super old TV. If I throw a brick at the TV, we'll have to get a new one. Oh, I'm just kidding. Maybe just some Pokemon cards or something. The grandpa just smiles and nods. A couple months later, this kid's birthday comes around, and there's a beautifully wrapped present on the table. Heavy, perfect corners. The kid opens it. Inside was a single brick. The grandpa's losing it. You're crazy. I can't believe you remembered. And the grandpa leans in and says real quiet to him, "Wait till your mom's in the kitchen and then waste the TV." So the kid's mom goes into the kitchen to grab the cake. The kid takes the brick, smashes it in the TV. TV is destroyed. What happened here? Now we gotta get a new TV. Yes. The grandpa took the blame for throwing the brick at the TV. "I don't know why I did that." Then the kid says, "It's okay, Mom. Please don't be mad at Grandpa. I'll help you pick out the new TV." "Okay, fine. You're right." "It's okay, Pops. You'll be okay. Just sit down and relax. I'll clean this up." The mom then leaves to grab the broom. "Nice work, kid. I love you, Grandpa." What a nice story. This bully got smoked. So there's this kid named Mateo. He's super nice, he's quiet, and he always walks around in these old, beat-up New Balance shoes. And then there's Jackson, super loudmouth, and he wears these $600 limited edition Nikes that everyone compliments. "Hey, yo, check the drip." "Nice shoes, Jackson." "Thanks." Now, normally, Mateo ignores Jackson because Jackson's constantly making fun of Mateo's shoes. But one day in gym, Mateo had enough. Jackson was like, "Bro, you're still wearing those nasty-ass crusty shoes? You're probably super poor, you freaking idiot." Everyone laughs. Mateo doesn't. Because here's the secret. Mateo is a walking sneaker encyclopedia. He can spot a pair of fake sneakers from a mile away. And nobody knew this about him. And Jackson, those $600 shoes, Mateo's known for months that those are fake. And he's kept quiet because he's a nice guy. Until now. When the class is doing laps around the gym, Mateo sneaks out and heads to the locker room. He opens Jackson's locker because, of course, he never locks it. And he walks out to the gym floor holding the shoes like evidence. "Everybody, yo, dude, those are my shoes. Since y'all want to talk about my shoes, let's talk about Jackson's shoes." He pulls out his phone and he begins comparing pictures of fake shoes to the ones that Jackson has, and they line up. So this is a fake. Look at Jackson's. See that stitching? That's fake. Look at the logo. It's completely off. It's in the wrong font. Look at the sole of the shoe. Completely discolored. These are only worth $25. Everyone's like, "What? Dude? So you're a frickin' fraud then, huh, Jackson?" "No, I mean, yes. I mean, no." Bro, you can't clown people for their shoes when you're wearing frickin' replicas. I paid more for my New Balances than you did for those fakes. And from then on, nobody made fun of Mateo's shoes ever again. Man, yeah, legend. Dude, don't shoot it from there. If it sticks, I'm a legend. It started with one kid. He was bored during history class, and he sat in the last row of the room. So because he was bored, he pulled a rubber band from his backpack, and he shot it at the wall behind him. Whap! It stuck to the wall. No one noticed. The next day, he did it again. Nice. Thwap. 2 rubber bands stuck to the wall. And then it became this thing. It was like an unspoken challenge for the kids that sat in the back of the room. The challenge would be to see if your rubber band can stick to the wall. And kids did whatever it took. They dipped these rubber bands in spit, juice, soda, anything that made them tacky enough to hold. It was disgusting, but it worked. And over time, the wall started to change. There were layers. Bands stuck on top of other bands. It looked like some weird, stretchy art project. And the teacher, he never turned around. He was one of those teachers that stood in the front of the class the whole time and he lectured from the board. He never noticed a thing. But then one day, they got a sub. And the sub noticed immediately. She walks in, she sees the wall, and she freezes. And all the students are waiting her to be grossed out or to snitch to the principal or something. But instead, she walks over, pulls out a pen, and leaves a note on the wall. When she walked away, the kids checked the note. All the note said was respect. That's awesome. It's frozen. Run! So this one school had a tradition. In 8th grade, during the last week of school, there was a day called Water Balloon Day. It was unofficial, unsanctioned. Everyone knew it happens right after lunch in the courtyard. What started as a couple kids tossing water balloons around turned into a full-blown event. And every year it got a little bigger. But this one class took it way too far. They planned for weeks, mapped out the courtyard, found the nooks and the crannies. They assigned roles, runners, refillers, and spotters. Kids were wearing goggles and rain ponchos like they were going to war. And the wild part was these weren't just simple water balloons. People were freezing them the night before. Others were filling water balloons with Kool-Aid to give them themed and color ammo. By the time lunch ended, it was full-blown chaos. Teachers tried to shut it down, but they were getting hit too. Hey, stop! That's when the principal stormed out with the megaphone. Everyone drop the balloons now! Students were drenched. They were running to avoid getting in trouble. The next day, an announcement was made. Attention students, all balloon activity from here on out is permanently banned. Any students participating in any future water balloon fights or things of the such will be expelled. But for that 8th grade class, especially those who avoided getting in trouble, they said it was a day that they'll never forget. And it is a legend around that school. That's epic. Let's be honest, none of you are going anywhere in life. What? Yo, that's messed up. So on this day, this teacher was already at her limit. Kids were talking in class, someone was playing Subway Surfers at full volume, and she snaps. She turns to the class and she says this. You know what, guys? It's clear that you do not want to learn, and let's be real. None of you are going anywhere in life anyway. The whole room freezes. People were shocked. Did she really just say that? Well, one kid stood up, and without hesitation, he says this. Clearly, you didn't go anywhere in life either. At this point, the class is losing it. She hits him with this. Sir, excuse me, you have no room to speak. You are literally failing my class. And that's when he ends her with this. Yeah, and you've been teaching this class for 19 years. You eat yogurt for lunch, still drive a 2006 Toyota Corolla, and you cry in the parking lot before second period. So I'm sorry, who's really failing here? A kid flips a chair. Oh my God. The bell rang. These students are going absolutely insane. She stands there frozen. She has no idea what the heck to do. And then as he's about to leave the classroom, he looks at her and says this. Hey, from now on, shut your mouth and let me fail in peace. See you tomorrow. And he left the room. That's absolutely crazy. It started over a jelly donut. No, that's my donut. I bought it. It was the last one. Yeah, but I was technically in line before you. Yeah, but then you went to the bathroom because you had to take a dump. Steven, you told her? It's the truth. They argue and argue. They start shoving. Then the donut drops on the floor and somebody steps on it. It's no good. It turned into this big thing. Apparently, the school had began picking sides. Nobody even knows what it's about. So now it's two large groups of people. At the front are the two girls, and they just start brawling. And the kids who aren't involved are just watching, like, dude, this is messed up, we gotta leave. Okay, let's go. Well, as those two try to leave the cafeteria, two plainclothes cops come in. You're not going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere. But by this point, it was out of control. The large fighting crowd makes its way out outside, and now they're fighting in front of the school. Hundreds of kids shouting, fighting, people recording it. The security guard gets knocked over. Ouch! Ouch! Somebody pulls the frickin' fire alarm, and that's when it happens. Like 10 cop cars just storm in. They get out of their car. They're wearing helmets and shields, and that's when all the students realized, oh, we should probably stop. But everyone that was involved in the fighting got into huge trouble. Let's just say for the next week, attendance was very low. He pre-ordered a cake for his mom's birthday. Okay, I'll pick it up soon. It was a custom order. He walks into the bakery, gives the pickup name, Carlos. Okay, I have your cake right here. Then a woman steps closer to him. Hi, that's a really nice cake. It is, right? Can I have it? No, sorry, it's a custom-made cake. But custom-made cakes take so long, I want yours. The guy just turns his back to walk away, but this woman turns him around. Okay. No, don't walk away from me. Excuse me? Give me that cake right now. Absolutely not, it's my mom's birthday cake. Well, me and my kid want it more than your mom. This guy sees the kid buyer and looks at him. Leave me honest. The kid doesn't even care. The worker comes over. Hey, what's going on in here? I want that cake. The worker says no, so this woman tackles the guy. Hey man, run! Take your cake and get out of here! The guy then escapes the shop with the cake, while this woman and the worker are fighting on the floor. The cops were called, and that woman was arrested. But seriously, who crashes out that hard over a cake? Doesn't make any sense to me. She's nuts. Every kid at this one school got a Chromebook. It was for homework, and they were allowed to take it home. Well, this one kid's mom wanted to punish her kids one day, so she took away the Chromebook so they wouldn't have access to the internet. Mom, I need the Chromebook. I don't care, I'm locking it up until your behavior improves. Okay, well now, naturally, this kid's grades begin to sink because he doesn't have the Chromebook or the internet to do his homework every night. So the mom gets mad again. Your grades are absolutely horrible. Mom, you took the I don't want to hear it. So the mom installs locks on this kid's bedroom door. And it wasn't like a cheap lock, it was a fingerprint lock. So if he wanted to sleep, he had to ask for permission. The mom also changed the house locks as well to only open for her fingerprint. So someday he would get home from school and he would have to wait outside. This is horrible. I hate my life. He explained to his teachers what was going on at home, and they tried calling the mom and talking some sense into her, but the mom always said, I know better than the school, I know better than you teachers, I know better than anyone, okay? This went on from when he was 14 to 18 years old. At 18, he moved out of the house immediately. And now the mom, of course, is like, hi, it's your mom. Why don't you come see me anymore? You never visit. He never visits. I wonder why. Yo, there's pizza in the hallway, guys. Best day ever. At this one school, there was this one kid that we'll call Logan who didn't say much all year. He was pretty quiet. Good grades, chill energy, he never got into trouble. But on the last day of school, something inside him switched. He walks in, he nods to the front office lady, and he says, last day of school, and I got big plans for it. Now, nobody thought anything of it until about 10 minutes later. An intercom announcement comes on, but it's not from the principal. It's Logan's voice. Good morning, students and staff. May I have your attention, please? And everyone's listening very intently because he sounds pretty official. Then he says this. Due to a clerical error, several classrooms have been issued complimentary pizza. During your third period class, please check the hallways. People laugh. They think it's a prank. But then third period rolls around and one kid decided to check the hallway about halfway through. And there's a pizza box. And another. And another. Every hallway there were full pizza boxes, still hot. Teachers are opening doors like, what is going on? Oh, that is so much pizza. But as you can imagine, kids are now losing their minds. Someone grabbed 2 boxes and ran to the bathroom, where I assumed he sat there and ate them. These kids said it was a complete blast. Yes, it was chaotic and people were getting in trouble, but memories, right? Well, this is what happened. Turns out Logan saved up all year. Lunch money, birthday cash, he put it all into this. He ordered 50 pizzas to all arrive at the same time to the school. He had convinced the school secretary to help him with this because he's told her, come on miss, the last day should feel like the last day. Okay. She let him use the intercom, she helped him bring the pizzas in. At the end of the day, the students were trying to find Logan to thank him. But he had skipped out early. He was already home, chilling in his room, playing Xbox. An absolute legend. He did all of this just to make people's last day of school feel memorable. Respect. This kid rode his bike to a grocery store. Yeah. He's using some of his summer job paycheck money to buy some snacks, chips, and sweets. He buys them, goes outside, and sets down the bag while he's unlocking his bike. Okay, I'll set you right here, unlock the bike. When he unlocks his bike and looks around, the bag is missing. What is it? That's when he sees this kid, younger than him, stuffing this stuff in his backpack. And the kid runs home. Yo, what the heck? That's it, I'm gonna follow him. He takes his bike and follows this kid to his house. Knocks on the door. The mom answers. Yes? He stays calm. Yeah, your son took my stuff. I got some groceries and some snacks. I saw him put it in his backpack and run away. I just want it back. My kid would never steal. I saw him do it. If you don't leave my house right now, I'm calling the police because of harassment. Well, he doesn't leave. They call the police, and 5 minutes later, the cops show up. They hear both sides. They then say, kid, open your backpack, please. Okay. And there the stuff was. Chips, sweets, everything. Yeah. Give it back, please. Give him the stuff back. Cops leave, the mom shuts the door in this kid's face, and they go their separate ways. But that's so embarrassing for that mom. That kid didn't learn anything, because a couple days later, he went to the guy's house that he stole stuff from, and he threw eggs at it. What a little jerk. The senior prank was to fork the lawn, which means sticking forks all over the school's lawn. You see, at this one particular school, they used real silverware, and the seniors have been planning it for a long time. Alright guys, we have 3 months. Whenever you get the chance, steal a fork. You got it, Johnny. Brilliant plan, old chap. Every lunch period, they would be taking these forks secretly, and they were doing it slowly so it seemed like a natural disappearance of silverware. But by the end of spring, the seniors had hundreds of forks. And no other class knew. Then the night before their last day of school, they came to campus, quiet. And they took all of these forks, and they shoved them into the lawn, evenly spread apart. And there were so many forks. By the time they were done, the grass looked like it had grown metal hair. It's beautiful. Bro, take that wig off. And the next day, administration went crazy. And the thing was, there was only one custodian left for that school year. This older guy. My name's Mr. Johnny. Hey, Mr. Johnny, can you please pull these forks out of the lawn? I don't want anybody tripping. Oh, okay. And then there he was, down on his hands and knees, pulling these forks out of the grass. Hundreds of them. Bending, sweating, he's working alone. A teacher finally came in to try to help him. Hey, Mr. Johnny, you can... That's when he saw his face. Mr. Johnny was crying. Thank you. That prank then went down in school history, but nobody ever talked about the guy that had to clean it all up. Hey, respect Mr. Johnny. He had a crush on this girl for months. They were in the same last period class. Hey, what's up, Carla? Hey, Bryce. Well, 3 days before Valentine's Day, he decides he's done being scared. So instead of just asking her out like a normal person, he buys one of those school singing Valentines. $10, one singer, he comes to your class and sings to your crush. All set? Thank you. You got it. Now it's the night before Valentine's Day. His phone rings. Hello? Dude, she has a freaking boyfriend. Oh, man. So now he panics. That next morning, he tries to cancel, but it's too late. No refunds, and everyone's already been sent out. Well, it's last period. He's sitting there praying that they ran out of time and that somehow his order would be skipped. 10 minutes left in class. Please, please, please. And here this guy comes. We have a singing Valentine here for Lady Erickson. Oh, that's my last name. That's me. And he begins. Wild thing, you make his heart sing. He's in love with you. Or something like that. I don't know the song, but it goes on for a good 45 seconds. Yay! Now, she obviously assumes this is from her boyfriend, but then he hands her the card. And here is the card from your Valentine. She opens it up. Bryce? I didn't know that you... I have a boyfriend, you freaking creep. Wait till I tell him about this. You're done for. After that class, he rushes out of the door into the buses. He goes home. And he said that was the most embarrassing day of his entire life. Yeah. In 4th grade, these two kids decided to ruin someone's life. They didn't mean to, though. It started as a joke. They stayed after class one day, laughing, scribbling in notebook paper. JT, I've been in love with you forever. That's good, that's good. But they didn't sign their names on it. They signed this one girl's. She was a quiet girl, and JT was the class clown. They finished writing the note, and they folded it up. They then put it in JT's desk, and they left. Forgot about it. Until the next morning, they walk into class, and JT is standing up, reading this note. JT, I've been in love with you forever. You make my heart go boom, boom, boom. What? He reads every word, and when he's done, everyone turns to this girl. I didn't write that, I swear. I didn't write that. Nobody believes her. Everyone thinks it's real. She has a full-blown meltdown, and she leaves the classroom. And the two kids stare at their desks. The next few days, she is bullied relentlessly. And one of the boys that wrote the note couldn't take it. Hey, it was me that wrote the note. Me and Kyle. We are so sorry. Why would you do that to me? My life has been horrible this week. I'm so sorry. I'll try to make it right. Those two then announced in front of that entire class that it was actually them, and that people should please be nice to this girl. But it wasn't as easy as that. People still made fun of her, and they realized that even a simple joke could follow somebody around for years. So be careful what you do, and be careful who you do it to. Be nice, everybody. So this small town school incorporated a new rule. No hats ever. Not in class, not in the hallways, not even during lunch. Didn't matter the type. Snapback? No. What? Baseball cap? No. Huh? Bucket hat? Definitely no. Hey! The teachers said that this rule was about respect and uniformity. The principal kept saying stuff like, "This is an institution of learning, not a fashion show, folks." But one day, this kid comes in wearing a helmet, like a full-on bike helmet strapped under his chin. You know, just sitting in class like it's completely normal. The teacher sees him. "Why are you wearing a helmet in my class? You know the rules, no hats." "Oh, it's not a hat. It's for safety." "Nice try. You need to take it off." "Actually, no, I don't. There's nothing in the handbook that says I can't wear protective headgear." She tries to argue with him, but he just smiles and says, "Look, you can ban hats, but this is personal protection. What if a ceiling tile falls? What if I trip and fall? Miss, I'm just being cautious." He wore it all day. He wore it to lunch. He wore it to gym. They called his parents. His parents said, "Hey, if he wants to wear a helmet, that's his right, okay? Better safe than sorry." So the school had no choice, because helmets are protective gear. They couldn't ban it, and all of a sudden, other students began joining in. By the end of the week, you had tons of kids wearing baseball helmets, lacrosse masks, skating helmets. It was iconic. However, they did eventually put this specific rule in the handbook. Students must not wear hats or helmets in school unless they have a doctor's note. That's kind of awesome. He robbed the teacher's lounge for months. In broad daylight during biology, he would leave class and walk straight into the teacher's lounge with so much confidence. He'd open the freezer, see what's in there, take an ice cream sandwich, open the fridge, take somebody else's lunch. If there were chips on the table, he'd grab like 7 bags. And he would literally nod at the teachers while he was taking their stuff. He was acting so confident, they didn't even question it. They assumed that he was there for a reason. That was the trick. And he would stand there having conversations. "Mr. Johnson, your test was freaking brutal last week." "I know I felt bad, but you did pretty good on it. You got a B, right?" "Yeah, it could have been an A, though." "I'm just gonna grab this and leave. Take care." Literally talking to this teacher while he's stealing another teacher's apple, banana, granola bar. And it worked for months. Until one day, one person decided to finally question him. It was the vice principal. Yo, what are you doing in here?" All that confidence and swagger, and he never decided to think of a story of why he would belong there. So he was busted and suspended for 5 days. It snowed heavily overnight. It's now early morning, and this retired guy is snow blowing his driveway. Milk, milk, milk. He clears his driveway, then he does his neighbors to the left, and then his neighbors to the right. He usually does those just as a neighborly friendly thing because they're also old. He parks the machine, goes inside, and puts on The Sopranos. Hey, gabagool, Tony's gabagool. The doorbell rings. He opens it, and it's a woman from like 5 doors down. She just moved in. Hi, why haven't you done our driveway yet? I'm gonna be late for work. I saw you do these two. When's ours gonna be done? Ma'am, this is not a service. I do a favor for these two because they're old, like me, but I still got my good knees. I'm sorry. You would think she'd be like, oh my gosh, how dumb of me. How dare I assume that you're gonna do our driveway? But no. Well, we're your neighbors too. Can you please snow blow our driveway? He's standing there, appalled. No. Slams the door in her face, goes back to his chair, and presses play to resume The Sopranos. Hey, Tony Soprano. Gabagool. That lady's out of her mind. He was trying to impress a girl. Yeah, I'm freaking strong. Okay. So, to try and impress her, he was gonna punch this kid that was standing right by him. Watch this. But what he didn't know is that kid was quick, and as the punch began to fly towards his face, he ducked. But that kid was standing right in front of a concrete wall. So the dude that was punching him's hand went straight into it. Ah! Oh! His wrist is completely broken. Teachers come running, a crowd gathers, and both kids were pulled aside. The dude that broke his wrist was taken to the nurse's office, and the other kid was taken to the principal's office. We don't tolerate fighting in this school. I didn't fight, he just tried to punch me. Yeah, well, he broke his wrist. Well, what did you want me to do? Not move out of the way? Yes, your face is softer than the wall. And that kid got suspended. That is not okay. He's a grown man, afraid of frogs. You can't go fishing. He won't walk near a pond. If a nature documentary shows a frog, nope. If he sees a cartoon frog on a commercial, hey, turn this off. If he's at a pet store, he will not walk down the aisle where the frogs are. I'm not going down there. Don't make me go down there. And nobody understands it. One night, he's chilling with a friend, and his friend finally asks him, hey, bro, I always meant to ask you, what's your deal with frogs? He laughs it off at first. Then he goes quiet. He says it started when he was 8 years old. It was summer. He was at the pond behind his grandma's house. Him and his cousin were messing around near the water. When his cousin scoops something up, whoa, it was a frog. He then throws it at him. Catch! Before he could react, that frog hits him right in the chest. Splat. And it's stuck there, clinging to his shirt. He slowly looks down and he sees the frog staring right up at him. To this day, he swears that the frog blinked once and said this, you would look better in a top hat. He freaked out. He shoved that frog off his shirt and he ran home. So yeah, that's what happened. That's so dumb. Obviously his buddy didn't believe him, but he knows what he saw and he knows what he heard. And to this day, he is still terrified of frogs. That's nuts. Freshman year, this kid dumped every single drop of soap on the floor of the boys' bathroom. Soap everywhere. Yeah, it was a mess. There was soap everywhere. It was a slippery crime scene. You would think the janitor would come in, clean it up, they would punish whoever did this, and they would refill the soap. But that's not what they did. In fact, they took the soap out of every other boys' bathroom in the school, and they left all of the soap dispensers empty for 4 years. One kid makes a huge mess one time, and now every single boy at the school cannot wash their hands with soap. Yo, this isn't fair at all. It's actually disgusting. And whenever someone complained, the teachers were like, well, you can thank whoever made the mess the first time. And kids started bringing their own soap in their backpacks, but most people didn't. And that's when one kid decided to start a soap business. He bought a bunch of tiny soaps from the dollar store and he sold them for $1. So he wasn't making any profit, but he was able to provide soap to anybody that had $1. And to this day, pretty sure there still isn't any soap at that school. That's nuts. So this girl takes her boyfriend out for his 23rd birthday. Small Italian place, no reservations, just first come, first serve for the tables. Well, these two wait 30 minutes and they're finally taken to a table. They order some drinks, they're settling in, they're having a very nice time. Then this family walks in. Mom, dad, 2 kids. The hostess tells them, it's gonna be 30 minutes. The mom then loses it. 30 minutes? My kids are hungry now. This is ridiculous. People are taking up big tables when they're just couples. And she literally points right at this girl and her boyfriend. Like them. Yo, I think that lady's talking about us. Oh my God, she is. The mom then marches over to their table. Hi, you two don't mind moving so me and my family can sit here, do you? You're young. You can wait. The girlfriend's jaw drops. Excuse me? So get up. Get up, please. Now. She's losing her mind. The waiter then comes over and is like, ma'am, you can't just ask guests to give up their table, okay? You're gonna have to wait like everybody else. This is ridiculous. There's no respect these days. So she goes back to the front. Her whole family looks super embarrassed of her, as they should be. She was out of line. And then when the hostess finally got them a table, it was right by the bathroom and the kitchen. So they were very uncomfortable. Good. At this school during lunch, milk cartons were free, and they were all just sitting on this table. So one day, these 3 5th graders, they stockpiled 20 milk cartons, shoving them in their backpacks, in their pockets, up their sleeve, and they take them out to recess. They walk over to the brick wall on the side of the building, and they just start chucking the milk cartons against the wall. Yeah, milk! Milk! The milk cartons are exploding, milk is spraying everywhere, a crowd gathers. Kids are cheering, they're watching this like it's a frickin' sporting event. Well, that's when somebody says, yo, the principal, he's coming! Oh crap. The 3 milk chuckers put their hoods up and they just disappear into the crowd. The vice gets there. Alright, who did this? And it was instant snitching, names and details. The principal immediately starts searching for these kids. And there were close calls, but these guys were really sneaky. Hiding against benches, behind trees, in the slide. Somehow, they never get caught. And the rest of the day is a frickin' mission. At lunch, the principal and the vice principal are posted at the table that these kids usually sit at. Oh crap, he's right there. Let's eat in the band room. Milk! That entire day they managed to escape the wrath of the principal. And when school was over, they went home. But the craziest part is, some random kid cleaned up the milk wall by himself, just because he wanted to. When the principal went out and asked him why he was doing this, "Why are you doing this?" "Because it's the right thing to do." That's legendary. This bully got smoked. So there's this kid named Mateo. He's super nice, he's quiet, and he always walks around in these old beat-up New Balance shoes. And then there's Jackson, super loudmouth, and he wears these $600 limited edition Nikes that everyone compliments. "Hey, yo, check the drip. Nice shoes, Jackson." "Thanks." Now, normally, Mateo ignores Jackson because Jackson's constantly making fun of Mateo's shoes. But one day in gym, Mateo had enough. Jackson was like, "Bro, you're still wearing those nasty-ass crusty shoes? You're probably super poor, you freaking idiot." Everyone laughs. Mateo doesn't. Because here's the secret. Mateo is a walking sneaker encyclopedia. He can spot a pair of fake sneakers from a mile away. And nobody knew this about him. And Jackson, those $600 shoes, Mateo's known for months that those are fake. And he's kept quiet because he's a nice guy. Until now. When the class is doing laps around the gym, Mateo sneaks out and heads to the locker room. He opens Jackson's locker because, of course, he never locks it. And he walks out to the gym floor holding the shoes like evidence. "Everybody, yo, dude, those are my shoes. Since y'all want to talk about my shoes, let's talk about Jackson's shoes." He pulls out his phone and he begins comparing pictures of fake shoes to the ones that Jackson has, and they line up. So this is a fake. Look at Jackson's. See that stitching? That's fake. Look at the logo. It's completely off. It's in the wrong font. Look at the sole of the shoe. Completely discolored. These are only worth $25. Everyone's like, "What? Dude? So you're a freaking fraud then, huh, Jackson?" "No, I mean, yes. I mean, no." "Bro, you can't clown people for their shoes when you're wearing freaking replicas. I paid more for my New Balances than you did for those fakes." And from then on, nobody made fun of Mateo's shoes ever again. Man, yeah, legend. These kids are insane. The circus was in town for this one weekend. And back behind one of the tents, tied to a little metal post, was a llama. Friendly, calm, just chilling there, tied to the post. "Dude, look at the llama. I like him. Let's call him Serge. Hey, Serge, wanna go for a quick walk?" "Dude, no." They weren't trying to steal him, they were just trying to get a picture of them walking Serge. So they undid Serge from the post, walked him around a little bit, and tried to put him back. But here's the thing. Serge didn't want to be put back. He kept following these kids around like he'd known them for years. "Dude, Serge is following us. Bro, he's like our friend now." So they started walking him around the frickin' town. They brought him to the convenience store, strolled him through the town center, and then they said, "Dude, let's try to get him on the bus." Yes. They walk a literal llama onto the public transportation. The bus driver was like, "I don't get paid enough for this. Just sit down as long as you pay for the llama." They rode the whole bus line with the llama on there. Bro, look at Serge. Dude, he's loving this. Crazy thing is the circus didn't even realize the llama was gone until one of the workers of the circus saw multiple Snapchats from multiple people around the town who had taken a picture of Serge. But before anybody could freak out too much, the kids walked the llama back to the circus and tied him up. "All right, Serge, it's been a great day. Been the best day of my life." And that was it. No harm to the llama, no damage to the circus. It was the most peaceful llama kidnapping in the history of the world. Beautiful. The school made an announcement. "Redesign the school logo and turn it in. The winner's logo gets to be the official logo." Every art kid in the school goes feral. People busted out their iPads, sketchbooks. They're working really hard on trying to create this new school logo. But then there's Evan, Shibby. Evan doesn't care. His friend dared him to make something and turn it in. So Evan designs the dumbest thing that he could think of. A circle with a weird looking bird inside of it that looks like it's mid-sneeze. That's so dumb. Here, he submits it. A week later, the principal gets on the school intercom. "We have chosen our new school logo. Everyone report to the gym." Everyone goes to the gym. Everyone's eager to see whose logo made it. They did a countdown. 3, 2, 1. And then they projected it. It's Evan's frickin' doodle. The bird, the circle, the sneeze. The whole gym goes dead silent. And then everybody erupts. "Oh, Bro's a genius. Yo, Evan cooked. Make him class president." Teachers are clapping. They print it out on shirts. It's being sold at the sports games. It's on the website. It's on the gym floor. This logo is everywhere. And Evan becomes an absolute frickin' legend. I'm a freaking legend. So this school was doing Spirit Week. You know, Pajama Day, Wacky Wednesday, stuff like that. Well, on Wacky Wednesday, this one kid showed up in a full suit of armor. Boots, gloves, gauntlets, the whole thing, 3 layers, night helmet. It was epic. And the school let him keep it on. Well, after second period, these 3 8th graders, who were the school bullies, decided to make fun of him. Hey, nice outfit, Tin Man. What you got under there? Yeah, nice outfit, metal boy. Well, he's just standing there, not saying a word. The bullies didn't like this, so they start to attack him. What's your problem, dude? Yeah, what's your problem? My foot. One punches his shoulder, his hand is shaking, it might be broken. Some kid kicks him in the groin, his foot is hurting. And the third one, big guy, punches his knee and literally breaks his wrist. Ow! My foot! My foot! My wrist, guys? Guys, my wrist. It's broken. It's broken. Principal shows up and calls it a school fight. The kid in the armor gets suspended for a week, even though he did not touch any of them. He literally just stood there in his night armor that the school let him wear. And the bullies, they didn't get in trouble at all. And that, my friends, is messed up. If you talk, I'm writing your name down, and you sit alone tomorrow. Understand? At this one small town school, the lunchroom rule was brutal. No talking at all. If you talked, your name went on the small board, and you had to sit alone by yourself at lunch the next day. Well, there was this one menace of a kid named Owen, and Owen was trying to cause some trouble. Watch this. He decided to drop a bunch of money in front of this one kid sitting down eating his lunch. The kid goes, "Oh, hey, is this yours?" Name on the board, alone tomorrow. This kid's a menace. He never says a word, but every single lunch period, he's trying to trap kids into talking. And people are falling into this trap. He's flicking food at people, accidentally bumping trays onto the ground, straight up kicking kids in the shin. What the? And the teachers think Owen's a saint. Every time they look over, he's just sitting there, arms crossed, smirking. By the end of the month, the quiet lunch board is full every single day, with kids spread apart all over the cafeteria because they were sitting alone, except for Owen. Eventually, the school's like, that's it. This is obviously not working, so we're getting rid of this rule. And the rule was gone. And it was all because of Owen. What a frickin' rascal.
কি খবর তোমাদের? কেমন আছো তোমরা সবাই? ভালো তো না? জানো তুমি কালকে তো কতবার বলছি।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
কি রে হৃদয় রহিন মানা করতেছি
কিছু না কিছু। ভাবি আপনি জানেন আমি একবার অসুস্থ হয়ে গেছিলাম, ও আমাকে রক্ত দেয়নি, আর আজকে আপনাকে রক্ত দিয়ে চিঠি লিখছে।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা? কেমন আছো তুমি?
ভালো।
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো না রক্তটা দিবি তুই?
আমি কেন রক্ত দেব? প্রেম খরচ তুই, রক্ত
আমার বন্ধু দিছেন আপনাকে অনেক ভালোবাসি ভাবি, আপনার ওর রক্ত যাওয়াটা বিধে হতে দিবেন না ভাবি। কেন 073421934 এটা তোমার নাম্বার না?
জি জি, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
ভালো নেই, আমি ভালো নেই। আমিও তোর মতোই ভাবতেছি, রক্ত যদি দিতে যায় রক্তটা আপনার কাছে এইটা আমার লাস্ট রিকোয়েস্ট ভাবি।
আচ্ছা
কখন আসবে তোদের ভাবি? আর ভালো লাগতেছে না আমার, সে যে কেন এলো
আবার আসুন, তো এরপর যখন আসুন আপনার মেয়ে আমারে ডেকে নিয়ে আসুন।
পড়বি না।
আমি পড়বো মানে আমি কি পড়তে যাওয়ার মতো মেয়ে নাকি? হ্যাঁ, তাহলে
আমি হইতেছি রিক্সা, তুমি হইতেছে এসি বাস।
মামা পাড়া নিত।
কষ্ট আমার বুকটা পাইতে গেছে, আমি অনেক কষ্ট পাইছি ভাই।
কষ্ট কোনো ব্যাপার না।
এই রিকশা,
এই ঘটনা ইতিহাস হয়ে থাকবো যে সেলিম ভাই ভালো।
আরে জুলি গেছে বাইরে মনে কর পিক করতে, বুঝছো?
মিনিমাম 1700 লাইন কবিতা লাগবো। তুই 700 লিখবি। মানুষ তো মর্ডার, যে কোনো সময় মারা যেতে পারে, মারা গেলেই বাঁচি।
আমার কথার বাইরে কোনো কিছু করবি না। আর ও যদি তোকে পড়ানোর চেষ্টা করে, তুই কোনোভাবে হারামজাদা আমার মায়ের ডিস্টার্ব করে।
খালু আপনি শুধু শুধু রাগ করছেন। কই
আপনার মেয়ে যাবে না স্যার?
না, আমার মেয়ে যাবে না, আমি একা যাব। এই সেলিম, তুমি কই যাও?
মাডা মনে আর বাঁচবো না স্যার।
বস কি তোর বাড়ি কই?
স্যার
শত যে থাকবো সেও ব্যর্থ হইবে। আমি চাই না আর কেউ ব্যর্থ হোক। মন যা চাইছে আপনি তাই করছেন, এখন আমার মন যা চায় আমি তাই করব। তুমি অনেক ভালো একটা মাইয়া, তোমার অনেক ভালো হইবে।
আমার মা হাসপাতালে ভর্তি, ডাক্তার কইছে 2 ব্যাগ রক্ত আর 1 লাখ টাকা যদি আজকে
জন্য পাগল আর আপনি তানিয়ার জন্য পাগল।
আরে জুলি, এইটারে কয় ভালোবাসা। দাঁড়িয়া, তোমার হাতের রান্না।
তোমার বড় ভাইয়ের ভালো না থাকলে এখান থেকে চলে যেতে বলো।
আরে জুলি, তুমি আবার কি রাইখা কি
প্রেমে ফেলতে পারো, তাহলে আমি নিজে দাঁড়িয়ে থেকে তোমার আর তানিয়ার বিয়ে দিব।
সারাদিন ধরে ভিক্ষা করছে, আমাদের 1 লাখ টাকা আর 2 ব্যাগ রক্ত লাগবে। কি করবো বলো, আমি তো আর প্রফেশনাল রিক্সা চালক না, প্রেমিক রিক্সা চালক। আমার তাহলে ক কি লিখছস, কয় লাইন লিখছস ক।
সে কি তোরে খুব ডিস্টার্ব করতো? আরে না, আরে শোন না একবার কি।
আচ্ছা
ভাই আমাকে আপনার সাথে লেগে যান।
নাম তোরা বুঝছি তো আমি, আজকে আমার বিজয়ের দিন। এখানে 100 কবিতা আছে, সার্ভিসটা তো একটু আলাদা থাকবে তাই না?
দেখেন আমি কলেজে যাব, আমার দেরি হয়ে যাচ্ছে, এসব নাটক দেখা
আর কি। ওই যে তানিয়া তো পড়াশোনা করে, সন্ধ্যার সময় যদি একটু খায় মাথাটা ঠান্ডা।
এই এগুলা কি? এই কার্ডের ভিতরে আমার মেয়ের নাম লেখা কেন? এই
বাইরে মনে কর পিক করতে, বুঝছো? ওই যে আবার আছে বলছে